Every few years, I like to refresh my studio space with a new accent piece, and I recently acquired this gorgeous new chair from Ernest. It arrived promptly and pristinely packaged. In fact, I was so impressed with the level of care taken to ensure that the piece would be protected during transit, which it was. But the material is beautiful, buttery smooth, sleek yet cozy. It's a velvet material which adds a touch of luxury while still remaining functional and, most importantly for me, comfortable. I've been in communication with the company, and they've kindly extended an offer to you, my viewers, to receive a 15% discount site-wide by using the code Jennifer at checkout, should you wish to purchase this piece or anything else that they offer. A huge thank you to the team at Ernest for providing this discount, and have a look at their unique and beautiful pieces, which, by the way, are luxurious and of utmost quality, but they cost less than comparable styles elsewhere. So please check it out. Years ago, when I completed my yoga teacher training, one of the very first things that we were taught was how to breathe correctly. Now, you may be thinking, well, breathing is an innate thing that we all do from the day that we're born. Why would you need instructions on how to breathe? But many people breathe incorrectly. In fact, they breathe through their mouth. So that's not the right way to breathe. You should always be breathing through your nose. My one teacher, in fact, said, breathe through your nose, starting now until you drop, until you die. So that's how important breathing through your nose is, nostril breathing. There's various filtration in our nose that filters pathogens, and it's a direct byline to the brain, of course. You may also be aware that mouth breathers actually have a different face shape formation if they are habitual mouth breathers from, say, childhood. You can look into this, and it's extremely fascinating. That can be a whole separate video on its own. Breathing through your mouth can actually misshape the face and make you more unattractive. So that's quite interesting. That can perhaps appeal to your vanity. There are mouth tapes that you can do to train yourself. You can tape your mouth shut at nighttime, and those mouth tapes are specifically meant to help train you to be a nose breather. Breathing through the nose is one thing that I kind of take for granted, that I just assume everybody knows this, that you're supposed to breathe through your nose. But that's my bias of thinking that everyone knows what I know. And we all do this, of course. But I like to look at this as healthy aging and optimal functioning as we age, and focus on longevity and health span, not just the lifespan, but the quality of life while we age, for aging gracefully. And you might be thinking, well, Jennifer, you're only 41, soon to be 42 years old. You're still young. Why are you thinking about aging? The time to think about aging and to practice these lifestyle habits is actually when you're young. Not so young, but like when you're in your 30s and 40s is the time to prepare for your 60s, 70s, and 80s and beyond, and that marginal decade that Peter Attia is always talking about. We want to lay the groundwork and the foundation now when we're still young and vibrant, so that we can reap the rewards decades later. So that's what I do, that's what I practice, and that's what I help other people practice. So these are very practical things like the nose breathing. So the second one is wearing a wide-brimmed hat. That's a lifestyle practice that I've been doing my whole life, actually, my whole adult life, is I always wear a wide-brimmed protective hat so that I can help filter the UV rays, which we know are damaging to the skin. They cause skin cancer, and they cause premature visible signs of aging, such as wrinkles, fine lines, hyperpigmentation, all these things. So my goal, of course, is not to completely prevent all of these, because that's impossible, because I'm existing and alive. So those things are happening with natural aging, of course, but my goal and the idea here is to delay and not encourage that which we can avoid. So these simple habits like wearing a hat, wearing SPF, protecting the skin, I was always taught to protect and preserve what I have. So that's a lifestyle practice that is very low cost, is to just wear a wide-brimmed hat to protect your skin from the sun. That will help you age very naturally and beautifully and gracefully. Another tip is to move your body upon waking, especially. So I like to do yoga in the morning, every single morning, to wake myself up and get that movement in my body. That's something that I need and crave. But if it's not that, then find an exercise, find a way to move your body. It doesn't even need to be a long time, just several minutes in the morning. I like to do it first thing in the morning to kind of get me going. I'm an early riser, so that's just what I prefer. But move your body any way you can. And the best exercise, in my opinion, and the one that I do without fail every single day, is walking. I'm a habitual walker and I love to walk outside. I walk all over the place. So get your body moving and be grateful for your mobility, and don't take that for granted. The next tip I have is to practice your grip strength. So I recently bought these grip exercisers, and I bought a set for my parents as well, my parents who are in their 70s. So my whole family, we're all doing these grip strength exercises. Why? Because a decline in grip strength has been directly linked to a decline in cognitive ability and cognitive function. So we want to preserve and strengthen the grip capacity for as long as possible and maintain that strength in our grip muscles of our hands. It is indeed a predictor of our longevity, especially with cognitive function. So I would highly, highly recommend that if you don't already train grip strength, that you start with just a simple grip strength exercise such as this. And I've been doing this in the morning and sometimes at night when I'm watching something or listening to a podcast. I'll just do my grip strength exercises because I want to be able to, say, open bottles when I'm in my 70s and 80s. So I want to keep my grip. The next piece of advice, I guess, is to do the hard thing first. So in my experience, that which I put off, it's better left not put off because it either never gets done or the pile of things that I need to do just accumulates. So I find that if I do the hard thing first, number one, it's not as hard as I think it's going to be in my head, or it's not as challenging or uncomfortable as in other words, my imagination is always worse than the actual reality of it. So that's refreshing. Number two, it forces me to face something with a sense of moderate urgency, which is good for productivity, and it's good for the mind. It facilitates more productivity. Mood follows action, so I feel great after doing it. If you haven't done, I sounded very Midwestern just then. If you haven't done the work, if you haven't put in the important work, then when something good in your life approaches, it's never the right time. That's what I have found. So what I'm trying to say is put in the work, invest in, and I'm not talking about a monetary investment necessarily, but I'm mostly talking about energy and time. So whatever it is that you value, put the investment and put the energy and effort and focused dedication and consistency and commitment into that. Because if you do the work, then when the good things come in your life, it will always be the right time because you'll always be ready. So that's a big thing that I've learned over the years is it's always good to have done the important work and keep doing it. This quiet, thankless work that nobody's grading me on, but that I know I'm putting that drop in the bucket each and every day for myself as an investment. And I might not see the reward of that investment until decades later. But when that time does come where I can see the fruits of my labor, as it were, it's extraordinarily satisfying and fulfilling and meaningful, because I know all that was involved in bringing me to that point. So that's a huge one. The other thing I wanted to mention is not to listen too much to experts, because I follow all kinds of experts, but I don't put too much stock in what these experts say, not because I don't trust their word, but because I remind myself that they too are just humans. We're all trying our best. We're all failing. We're all revising our own opinions, figuring it out, figuring life out. People who have these credentials and they have done the study that has brought them to become an expert in their field. I appreciate that, don't get me wrong. I have enormous respect for that. But I just remind myself to take everything with a grain of salt. I've spoken about this before, but the importance of diversity of opinion and inviting a diverse set of opinions and viewpoints into your consciousness, I think, is very important, especially in this climate of social media and the way that we're exposed to such a vast volume of information and at such a high velocity. We are bombarded with information, tons of misinformation, tons of opinions and judgments about each and every topic imaginable. I think it's a good idea to not get fixated on even our own judgments, but to loosely practice observing without forming a judgment, and remind yourself that I can observe this situation or I can consume this content without having necessarily a strong opinion about it. Of course, you can have an opinion about it, but you can practice that. I find it a good practice to literally practice non-judgment and notice myself observing something from that point of view, purely from an observational point of view of objective reality, rather than letting my own preconceived notions or my own biases affect how I judge a certain person or what they're saying or any number of things. I find that I learn much better and I can be much more of a critical thinker if I do this practice. So that's a very good, I think, piece of advice. It's something that I'm doing, because oftentimes someone I like will say something that I dislike. And my first instinct is to, why, I like that person. Why did they say that thing that doesn't align with what I think about that topic? And then I catch myself and think, no, that's such a immature, myopic way of thinking, such a binary way of thinking. I don't want to be like that. So I don't want to be an immature thinker. So I recognize that in myself and I'll say, no, I'm allowed to dislike something that someone I like says. They can have their opinions and they should. And who am I to judge? And so I see people much more differently now. I find myself listening to and watching content from people that I really don't like, that I don't care for, because I want to hear what they have to say. I will go out of my way to do that out of curiosity, like, what's this person that I don't really care for have to say? I'm curious, and then I can change my opinion. So we can learn and we can grow this way. So I would encourage you to do that. It's not, this cancel culture thing and avoiding opinions that are in friction with your own because you know that you dislike what that person stands for or something. I've really been I've really been practicing going out of my way to listen to a diverse set of opinions and perspectives, kind of following my own advice there. These lifestyle habits and diet, what we eat, how we sleep, how we have social relationships, loved ones, these things all feed our soul and make us healthy from the inside out. It starts from within, and then that's how we carry ourselves throughout life. So I guess my number one secret to aging naturally and aging gracefully is love, the love of my family, the support of my loved ones. That's my internal North Star. Every decision we make in life is either for love or for fear. And I guess prioritizing love and focusing on that, that will take you far in life. So leave your tips below if you have any lifestyle secrets, lifestyle habits that you do to promote healthy aging, and I would love to read them. And I want to thank you as always for watching, and thank you for spending time with me. I wish you the best of luck and the best of success and health.